8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Take a seat, crack a cold one, because it is time for your favorite part of your Tuesday nights, and that is the Competition Plus Power Hour here live, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else you're watching. That is right. I am Slam and Sam. I am one part of the duo here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on my main man, my right-hand man, my brother from another mother, the Amish racing god, the new pit reporter for Funny Car Chaos. Monday morning racer, Lee Kraft, man. How's it going tonight?
Sam, it is going spectacularly well. Able to get out of the driveway here in South Carolina. You know, I lived in New York for about 6 years, and it's amazing. In the winter, you can go anywhere. You can do anything. It doesn't shut down. 1 inch of snow in the South, and everybody loses their minds. But we got a good amount of snow, dude. 1 inch. I don't
want to hear about your snow. I can't see my fence. I can't see my fence in my backyard, man. I don't want to hear about your
I know what that's like. I have seen it. I have experienced it. I have shoveled it. But yeah, 4 to 5 inches we got, and it just shuts everything down.
They closed school early for the out of town schools around my area just because the wind was blowing so hard. Shut down the air base. You know, if you didn't have to be there, they sent you home because the wind was blowing and the snow drift visibility was like not even a mile. There's people piled up everywhere. Snow drifts. Man, snow day, man. It's fun, but I can only think and I can only look forward to what's about to come. And that is some sunshine, some vitamin D hitting my body and my soul and my spirits, because Lee, here shortly, we were wrapping up the 2021 race season. And right now we are about to kick 2022 race season all in full force. Brand new teams, brand new cars, brand new sponsors, a whole lot going on, and I am excited already because February is right around the corner.
Well, man, and look, don't cut out January, because we do have the U.S. Streetcar Nationals down there in Bradenton Motorsports Park, and that is going to be one rocking time for the Door Slammer guys. You know, the official, unofficial kickoff to the drag racing season. So apparently 2 spots opened up, in fact. I don't know if they were filled, but they showed the list of who is going to be there. It's a who's who of the pro mod world. Definitely looking forward to that event and who comes out on top. But as you mentioned, we definitely got an event to look forward to in February. We have pro nitro testing and pro testing just in general, not just nitro, back at Wild Horse Motorsports Pass Park. Looking forward to that, Sam. And I think that also can put to rest, for now at least, some rumors of that facility. You know, some people even up to this point were like, we're never going back. Well, we're going back.
Very, very true. Yes, I have a snow blower. It was too much snow. That's why you call a friend. He's got a loader and a bobcat. I let him do it. It's easier. What would take me 30 minutes to do took him 5 minutes. Simple. But no, Lee, I mean, a lot of people have questions about different tracks, and you know, I'm excited. And one thing that I'm excited to see is that, you know, and this is talking about a little something different, but the new things that are going on with these drivers that own teams. You alluded to it yesterday when you sent me, or you tagged me in the post on Facebook, Mr. Ron Capps himself trying on that new fire suit down there at Simpson, getting fitted for that. You know, if you missed that episode, I still think I spilled the beans before the beans were spilled on what was going on there. I think I asked the question there, and I got the answer. No, I'm not building a snowman. Do you want to build a snowman? So for anyone that's out there right now and you got a little kid that likes Frozen, there you go. American Hot Rod ENT Entertainment, Pack Pomona, if they let you. or will you have to wear a mask? The saga
No telling.
continues.
No telling.
The saga
But
continues.
if there are no restrictions, definitely, I want to see Pomona packed. I want to see a good crowd there for the Winter Nationals. I feel like at times, and I expressed this
Are
last
we?
week on my show, that the Winter Nationals does not give the credit that it should really get. It's one of the most historical drag racing events that there are, period.
For sure. I mean that track is very unique. You talked about it on your show last week. I tuned in and heard a little bit of it. But that's just one of those tracks, Lee, that it's such a good place for us to run. It's got the small track feel to it. I don't want to say it's a small track, but it's got that small track feel to it. And it's unique. It's very, very unique. I mean, you're sitting right off the edge of a runway or an airport. So the sun sets and you can look out into the cliffs there and see the sunset. That typical California vibe. Looking out to the distance and see the beautiful sunset. But
there's no better look of the Winter Nationals and snow on the San Gabriel behind the drag strip.
That's true.
Iconic drag racing look.
No, and I mean, you can't beat that. And like I said, I mean, it does have that iconic look. And I mean, if there were now, I'm going to pose this question, Lee, and I think we talked about this already, you and I. But if there was another facility built in that area, do you think NHRA pulls away from Pomona and goes to another facility?
Historically, I would say the answer is yes, because you got to remember there was a day and time that there were at least really more, but at least two modern facilities for their day, the Fairplex and Ontario Motor Speedway. And Ontario is 15 minutes down the road. So I would say that yes, if there was an option, I doubt there will be an option in the future because, well, look what happened to Ontario. Look what happened to Riverside. Look what happened to Lyons. Fontana drag strip is going away even now. They are being gobbled up one way or the other. That's why I will say, as much as I feel that Pomona in some aspects is overhyped, even though I'm the one saying, hey, it doesn't get enough credit historically, and it doesn't compared to even the U.S. Nationals, though it's not the biggest, but it is the big go of the West. Well, I've got to say, I hope we see improvements to that facility. When I say the facility, yes, I mean the track itself. Drivers, teams, they want to see that, but I would love to see upgrades to the tower, upgrades to the stands, upgrades to the pits, upgrades, get a tram in there somehow. Get people able to get there quicker from parking.
But
something.
I do you okay? I get that, but do you want to take away Pomona has a very unique not grandstands, but tower with their media facility and their suites. Yeah, it's a little outdated on the inside, I would say, but it's not that far behind times. I mean, granted, no, is it a Vandermeer? No, I mean, but I think it has a very iconic look to it. I mean, there's, just that angle that it sits at, the big Napa, the Auto Club, across it. The way I kind of like the way you pull in there on race day. You kind of pull under that big door that's open. You pull in there. Yeah, is it a pain for the teams? I get that point because, especially with the top fuel cars, you got to swing them in. Especially if you're in that that close lane, you got to swing it in, turn it a little bit more. So, I mean, yes, there's things that, we could gripe about and complain about. But at the same time, I'm happy that we have a racetrack to go to.
And it's the only one really in that area for NHRA drag racing. So, yes.
I mean, can we take it a couple more miles down the road and go to San Diego? Hey, if they do it, I'm with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, if it could happen, hey. But that's just me being selfish because then I can visit home. I don't have to drive from, Pomona back home than back to Pomona than back
Well,
home.
right. And look, to Mike Cage's point, would you close Yankee Stadium? Well, remember they did. They tore it down. They completely rebuilt it. Remember that. Why? Because it needed those very improvements. Now with Pomona, like for example, you're talking about the track that is centric to NHRA drag racing in the inception of itself. And one reason why Atlanta was sold is that what we see some of those funds go back to places such as what IRP, Gainesville, and Pomona, hoping to see it become even better of a facility.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Lee, I don't know. There's things that you like about it, and there's things that I don't like, right? I mean, about each track. Bobby's sitting here complaining. He says he wants a moving sidewalk. Bobby, that doesn't help. Or that's Eric. Sorry. Where did Bobby go? There's Bobby. He wants a moving sidewalk. Bobby, you just ran like 15,000 miles, dude. That walking ain't hurting you. Like, if you can run that far, walking back and forth to the pit, I don't feel sorry for you. Like, you put that on yourself. Mike Ashley's chiming in. What's up, guys? He wants me to bring back the hair. I don't know, Lee. I don't know if you saw that picture or not, but
I did.
I don't know.
Man, it's up to you. That's your style. That's your look. It's up to you. Do what you do.
But Lee, man, so like let's continue to talk about it. So big news coming out of NHRA, testing in Phoenix. Like you said, there's a slew of cars that are going down. There's names, people that have said it. I'm excited to see what these new teams are doing. You know, Antron's talking about these new bodies that he's getting and putting his cars together in his team, just so those teams can actually get to feel what it's like now. You know, the new added crew members and things on race day. You know, it's going to be a race day feel, even though it's going to be a little lax. I really think that there's going to be opportunities for them to get into an early groove of what the season's going to be like, what it's going to take for them, you know, to know where that one guy is bringing the tray under and the other guy is bringing the tools over. You know, you gotta click. And for them, this is in all reality for most of these teams, this is their 2-a-day training, right? You've been off for a couple of months. Yeah, you've been in the shop, but now you're going to go and test. And this is your, you know, your quick get back into shape, get back in the groove of things, and let's go. So for them, this is their, I wouldn't call it spring training. I think they're doing spring training right now, but this is their hell week, their, you know, hell couple of days just to get their feet wet again. So
they are going to be testing combinations well beyond just what's in the car, for sure. And there may very well be some added pressure. Typically, if I recall, there's the testing and then there's a gap between the event. This year, it's testing and roll right into the first points paying event at the Winter Nationals. For some teams, that may be very good. For some teams, they might find a problem, and then they got to work out that gelling process again at the Winter Nationals. It's going to be hard to say. I am looking forward to having my eye on, in fact, who we'll have later on in the show, Justin Ashley. I think there have been some great changes, rather additions to that team. The Toyota deal, Tommy DeLago, new marketing partner, as we'll be talking about. So it's going to be interesting to see what testing for them will be like. But a lot of cars, a lot of teams are going to be out there for that testing session. And some of those cars that are going to be out there, we finally did learn of what Tony Stewart Racing, the Nitro portion, they are in fact going to be running as their nameplate and the support they have. And well, Sam, I don't know about you, but I wasn't shocked at all.
No, I mean, Tony has a variety of options, and I honestly, and mark me when I say this, I think we're gonna see it just like we saw in his sprint car days and different things that he did. You're gonna see a lot of different partners, not partners. You're gonna see a lot of different sponsors / partners at different points of time. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna change it up. We saw that a lot with Leah switching things up. You know, one week she was there, or one week she was this. And I just think the way that he is able to market himself, the way that Tony has just gone about doing things, and his knowledge of what to do and what not to do. I think a lot of people are going to be taking notes of what he's doing and asking questions. But he's a great resource for our sport. He's a tremendous, uh, like I said, a valuable resource to everyone in that pit, to the things that he's already experienced, and now just what he's adding with his wife by his side, who's a drag racer.
I definitely think there's a lot of hype out there with Tony coming in, and it's definitely deserved. Tony is going to bring a lot to this sport. But I will say, when it comes to the announcement that, hey, Dodge is going to be the brand that they're running with, they're going to be the ones supporting that effort with many other partners, I'm sure. I really feel like this is more of the relationships that were already built with Matt Hagan and Leah, bringing that, and it was just that easy of a transition to go from the DSR, those relationships that have been tied for so long, and implementing them at Tony Stewart Racing. So all of it combined, coming together, we get the announcement that we did get. I thought the cars looked pretty good, Sam. I like the gunmetal and the black and the red. Pretty cool looking scheme on those cars. They'll definitely look good going down the drag strip.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think that was something that we all kind of figured, and it was kind of mentioned a little bit when they first made the announcements, that they're keeping their partnership with Dodge. And I think that was kind of a part of the big deal for them, was doing that. And I mean, you have to. You build these relationships day in and day out, week in, week out, month and month. They're inviting different people. They're going out and doing stuff for Dodge. So keeping those partnerships were huge for them. So I mean, it's one of those things of what can they do next? What stops her next? You know what I mean? And like I said, I just said it, that I think, Tony Stewart is phenomenal in what he does and what he's accomplished. So yeah, I don't want to say it's an easy shoe in, but it's easier when you add a guy with his resume behind it and saying, hey, this guy is going to be a part of it. Another question we had here, someone asked about Ron Capps and what he's doing. That question there. Ron did mention on the show that he was staying with the Napa team, and that was a relationship that he had. And I think that's the thing that we forget. Like, yes, these drivers, they were under the DSR umbrella. They were under that roof. But these sponsorships, and marketing partners that they have, they're going out and meeting these people themselves. They're building these relationships themselves. It's not all just DSR. Yes, DSR was a great backing for them, but now they're taking what they've worked for, these relationships that they've built over these years of having them with them, and now they're taking them on to what they're doing. And I don't even know how to say it really, but basically, I mean, it's like a relationship. If you build a relationship with your favorite engine builder, right? Just because you move, let's just say 45 minutes further away, and there's one that's closer, you still have that relationship. I'm going to put it in that sense. Like, I've got a guy who builds engines that lives in Brainerd, and one guy that lives in Aberdeen, South Dakota, right? But you build a relationship. One guy can maybe do one thing better, and another guy can do something else better. So you just pick your poison. And I think, what we're seeing from Ron, what we're seeing from Antron, I mean, he took Mako Tools with him. What we're seeing with Leah and Matt and Tony, I mean, they're relationships that have been built over years.
Right. And it's been clear since Ron Capps announced at PRI that it was going to be Ron Capps Motorsports, that Napa was going to be involved. There was Napa officials, representatives on the very stage with Ron Capps when the announcement was made. So we definitely know Napa is going to be on board. We don't know. It hasn't been clear on what he will be running far as body I assume, though, very similar to what we saw with Matt and Leah, that it's going to remain a Dodge. That's what I think. But it hasn't been confirmed as of yet.
No. Yeah, there's been no real talk of it. But I mean, it's still silly season. I don't want to say it is, but it still is. You know what I mean?
It
But
is
with
still
Ron,
silly
I don't.
season.
But with Ron, I don't see too many big surprises coming out of there. You know what I mean? Like you know what you get. You know what you're gonna get when it comes to Ron Caps. I mean, I think he's a very straight shooter. I think he, tells you like it is, and he's open and honest. I mean, the guy just loves what he does, and I mean, it shows on race day. It shows, Friday, Saturday, Sunday when he's out at the pits and he's signing autographs and, you know, holding his shoots. He's sitting there the whole time he's doing it. He's sitting there talking to people and interacting with people while he's doing that. So, I mean, to each their own. And like I said, Ron Capps, we know for sure that Napa Auto Parts is something that's near and dear to his heart. So, I mean, I know he took that with him, and that's where he's going to ride. And I think, like you said, we're going to continue to see um, him in a Dodge.
I know this. I know from a phone call that I had yesterday that silly season is not done with. So, ladies and gentlemen, hang on. It's not over with. Winter
Lee,
Nationals has not begun yet.
Lee, you're keeping secrets from me, and I don't like this. I don't like it.
Very quickly, 426 Hemi, he says, will the jeweler be on tonight? We got to track him down, man. I don't know what
Dude, the jeweler's been on the run, man. I think he got cashed out. He went and robbed another jewelry store, and we haven't seen him in a while. So he's playing low key. He's probably in a witness protection program somewhere in California with a lot of ice cold Coors Lights and cigars. So,
maybe,
who knows, man? Like we just kept talking about it, the new look with Tony Stewart Racing, with Stewart Racing, I should say, and then Larry Dixon going to Australia, and he's going to be running down there. So I mean, just a lot of information coming out this week, and that's the beauty about it, Lee. You and I share a lot of stuff that we get or that we come across, but like the information that's out there and that's at our fingertips between all the social media platforms, between everybody posting, it's pretty nice to just see that there's a lot going on. Everyone's got a story to tell. Everyone's got something to say, and it's cool to do that. But if you guys see it, if you guys like it, if you guys know about a page that people are talking drag racing, you see something on Lee's page, Monday Morning Racer, you see something on my page, Slam and Sam, Outlaw Performance ENT, or anything, like it and share it. Like, let's get the word out to everyone. Share it in those groups, because these drivers, these families that support these drivers, these sponsors, they all need they need our help. That's how we continue to grow. That's how we continue to build the sport that we love, is by a simple like and a simple share. I mean, it's really easy to do, but I think a lot of people forget to do that sometimes. And we've got a guest coming on tonight that we got multiple guests that are coming on tonight that I'm for sure can talk about just, hey man, help me out with a share, help me out with a like. Like, it does mean something.
It definitely does. And, it meaning something, like, for example, you can go to competitionplus.com and get a lot of these news stories on top of it in the world of drag racing for sure. Excuse me. Well, Larry Dixon, very cool deal. Yeah, he's going to be back in competition in Australia, first time since 2016. There was an issue where one driver, due to rules and regulations, apparently with like COVID and travel or something in Australia, he was not able to get in the car that he's supposed to be in, but they called up Larry. So Larry's going to get in the car and go drag racing in competition once again. So that's a cool deal for Larry. And Larry responded on Twitter and did mention that this weekend, that's happening this weekend, apparently it will be streamed on the Facebook page for this particular organization, and that is the Australian Top Fuel Championship. All right, the Australian Top Fuel Championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, check out some Australian drag racing, and let's pull for the American Larry Dixon, the champ down there, down under. Definitely looking forward to that. So, Sam, John asks us, are we going to be at the No Name Nationals in September? John, let me say, right now, when I look at my year, as crazy as my calendar is going to be, I don't know. It is a wild. It's going to be a wild year for me, and I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know. Maybe I'll see if I get there. What about you, Sam?
Here, let me pull up my events that I think I'm going to this year. It's been a really tough decision. I've had to cancel some things, look over some other things, but I'll be foregoing my 5th season to. Oh wait, as of right now, I have no events on a list on a schedule for me. I'm declining all offers at the moment. I do not want to speak to the press. I will wait till my attorney is here and present. Nothing further to say, and I'm just here so I don't get fined.
But you are the press, Sam.
Oh, that's right. See, I talk to myself. That's the problem, Lee. See, I'm glad you caught on. But as of right now, still trying to figure out things, still trying to work out deals, details, and airfare and whatever else you want to call it. But as of right now, yeah, I don't know what events I'm going to. I honestly don't know, and I can't tell you guys anything because I don't. It's still silly season for me. Okay.
Yeah, silly season is more than just competitors, teams, tuners, and Kroger sucks 45. I gotta ask, man, do we need an intervention? You know,
no, dude, he was.
I mean, I gotta ask, but he is asking. I guess we gotta wait until the Phoenix test to find out who the tuner is for Coletta. So, like, everybody suspects it is Alan Johnson. I have heard that it's like all but, guess what? Confirmed. There has been no press release whatsoever. And yes, I suppose we are waiting until Phoenix.
No, it's just none of you guys' business. Just let them figure it out, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and we find out when we find. Like, that's the thing. I think, Lee, and here we go. We're so, and I'm gonna backtrack here because I just said we're so lucky to have all the media at our fingertips, and we can find out what we need to find out whenever. But at the same time, we get so mad if someone doesn't spill the beans right away. Like, we get so mad at a team, at the driver, at the social media person, if they're not telling what's going on right then and there. Like, sometimes it's just like, you know what? We've got 15 fires over here. We ain't worried about letting y'all know what's going on. We're trying to take care of us first. And I get it. We're in a world and a time where everyone wants to know right now, but do we really need to know? Or can we just find out when we find out?
Well,
and Drag Racing Central, here we go. That's what's good about this debate. In other motorsports, yes, but some, like I said, there's some times where if the starting quarterback ain't hurt, why do, like, if he's 75% at game time, why does everyone need to know that he's 75% at game time? Look, quarterback's ready to go. Why do we have to say everything? If the tuner's going to be that person, then that's who it's going to be. I'm just saying.
I think it's great to have speculation for sure. And hey, the reason with speculation, you and I have something to talk about. Fans have something to talk about. Everybody can chime in and wonder, and it continues the conversation going on. Like, hey, that is huge. Where is Alan Johnson going to be, and who are going to be the top tuners for Coletta? Because you can start putting all the pieces together, and you can realize this person's here, this person's there, they were there, they're not there anymore. Who is it going to be? I don't think it's no different than any other motorsport. Who's going to be the top engineer? Who's going to be the crew chief for whatever talents. And especially in the drag racing world, whoever is the tuner is a big deal. And it seems to set the tone for a team, whoever it is, or whatever the combination is, or the duo or the trio. So I can understand people wanting to know for sure, Sam. I can understand people wanting to know.
And I like I said, I agree. I had to backtrack there because like I said 5 minutes before, I said we have the ability now to know everything. Like we always want to know everything. We want. But sometimes, man, like sometimes we just gotta hold our horses. Sometimes we just gotta sit back and let it play out. And like you said, if you're paying attention close enough, you see that so and so's here, exhibit A's here, exhibit C's over here. Where's Y? Oh, okay. I mean, but to each their own, man, to each their own.
Well, man, look, we have guests in the green room. Our first guest tonight, we're going to have Justin Ashley and Jim Epler on talking about a new deal that has been inked. And we'll have them on for a few moments and dive into that new deal and looking forward to the 2022 season. And then afterwards, we'll have Doug Winters be talking some pro mod with Mr. Winters later on. So
Lee,
great, yes.
Lee, it is called what? What class is Doug Winters in?
Pro mod or pro modified.
Professional modified.
Yes, which sounds so strange when you put it all together that way.
Put some respect on the professional there, okay? I'm still rooting.
One day.
I'm still rooting for them to be a professional class. Like, please. Call them pro.
They are, but with a different title sponsor. It's tricky. It's tricky. You know, it's very tricky.
Nice song reference, bro. Let's go to a commercial. Can't say
commercial
right now.
Commercial. And after this commercial, talking about how great Weldon pumps are, it's Justin Ashley and Jim Epler. Justin Ashley, Mr. Epler. Welcome, gentlemen.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having us on.
Jeez, Justin, you're becoming a regular on the show, man. What's going on?
I am. Well, now it's a little bit different. Right now, I get a chance to hang out with Mr. 300 himself. Before, it's just been me in the past. Now we got Jim Epler on, so now we're talking.
All right. Yeah. Did you get my resume? I sent you like 20 of them.
Oh, did you? Did you?
Yeah. They must have got lost in the mail or something.
Send me, you know, I love you guys. You know, I love you guys.
All right.
Hey, we're hiring just to come down here to Phillips Connect, so we're always looking for good people.
There you go.
There you go,
Look
Sam.
at that.
There you go, Sam. And
I got a new job on the show.
That's right. And you're in Irvine, California. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There we go. There you go,
That's right.
Southern California.
That's right up the road from the house.
That's
Get
right.
some
Maybe
good Mexican
out
food.
with Jeff End after your work day and enjoy some Coors Light, you know?
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't make it to work the next day. I
mean, that could be a
look what happened.
Offense.
Look what happened after I made my bet come true with Lyle Barnett. Ugh. Never do that again.
Right. Well, gentlemen, look, I'm going to bring up the car. The car looks great. Phillips Connect. Got some schematics on the side with the black and the blue. Looks really good. So, Justin, talk to us about this partnership and this brand. And you're going black, man. First black car.
Yeah, this is this is really great. I think, the special part about this partnership is that it's a win-win all the way around. It's a win-win for everybody at Phillips Connect, and it's a win-win for everybody at our program. And I think that we all have that same clear vision and that goal in mind, and we want to be out there successfully for a long time. And it's time that we introduce Phillips Connect to the NHRA fan base and all affiliated and associated businesses around the country, because what they do really is special. They are the leader in smart trailer technology, and everything they do is quality. And I'm in here, California. I'm in Irvine myself, and I've spent just the last few days around Jim, around Amber White, around Rob Phillips, and everybody at this company. And it's clear to me that, you know, they are at the top for a reason, because of the culture that they've established and because of the type of people that they have working there. So we're excited. It's going to be a great 2022.
So, Jim, for you, my question is, you know, bringing a guy like Justin Ashley to be the forefront and promote the company for you guys, what does that mean to you to have someone like Justin do that?
Well, you know, obviously it's about performance. You know, I've been watching Justin for a while, and I know his dad, and he's just so well-spoken, and it's an incredible driver. You know, and I've got a little history with Mike Green that goes back 35 years and his team. And I just, you know, his like-mindedness about what it takes, you know, to not just to win, but to bring sponsorship dollars, you know, into the sport and all the things that I really like doing. I've been out of the sport for 20 years now, and you know, just looking for the right time and you know, with the company and the products that we have, the timing was just right, you know, to build on this. But our vision is very clear, and Justin is shown that he's in it for the long haul. He's here learning about our company, you know, what we do, and to be a good spokesperson and to represent our products. You know, I couldn't be happier, you know, to be, you know, working with Justin and you know, the hospitality program that they have is going to be really exciting for us to come to the races and invite our guests. You know, we're in the transportation business. The transportation business is skyrocketing now with COVID and everything that's happened to get, you know, products to consumers that are all holed up in their houses still. It's a good business to be in. We're in the smart trailer end of things, and just to teach, you know, our fans about what we do, but more importantly, there's just no better sport, you know, than NHRA drag racing to bring a customer to and to build a relationship. So I'm really excited about that end of the business.
Well, you mentioned the transportation industry. That's what Phillips Connect is involved in. It has been growing, and there's definitely a need for drivers, and we rely on it each and every day. Everything comes off a truck one way or another. And Justin, bringing in a partner that I think makes so much sense, because the fans and teams, they all have access to these great rigs of the transportation industry at a NHRA drag race. We've seen Josh Hart do some interesting things with like R&L carriers. What are some thoughts you've got from the marketing side with Phillips Connect that might be fresh and new to showcase the product going into the Winter Nationals?
Yeah, I think that, you know, there's a bunch of ideas that we have kind of going into it, and, you know, as a way to really build this program the right way. But I think everything really starts with the hospitality. You know, Jim can touch a little bit more about what they want to do from the business side, but our goal really is to, you know, bring existing Phillips Connect clients to the racetrack and bring potential Phillips Connect clients to the racetrack to, you know, to entertain them, and also really to show them the kind of products that Phillips Connect has. You know, they are going to have products there. They're going to have a smart trailer there, you know, to show people all about their products and what they do. And, you know, we see the NHRA is like a high-speed golf course. And we say that for a reason, because that's where business deals go to get done. So a lot of what we're going to be doing is based on B2B initiatives and getting business deals together. You know, for example, the week leading up to Gainesville will be TMC, which is one of the biggest trucking trade shows, if not the biggest trucking trade show of the year. And, you know, we're going to bring the car there. It'll be on display. I'm going to be there representing Phillips Connect and signing autographs and spending time with some clients. So, you know, we just want to take full advantage of all the opportunities that the NHRA platform offers. And we know that there's a plethora of opportunity out there. And, you know, Jim Epler, obviously having a background at NHRA, being the businessman that he is, and Amber White as well, who works at Phillips Connect and having a background at NHRA. They've done a great job already outlining, the kind of business platform that we want to unroll here this year.
Justin, I'm kind of seeing the theme here. Like last year was smart sanitized. This year is smart trailers. How smart can one guy get? Like I'm getting the connection here. Like a smart kid, smart driver is using all smart things. So I get it. Forward thinking, forward mindset, and that's just the kind of guy that you are, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, we talk about getting involved with companies who are smart. It's because they're the company that's smart, right? It might not have anything to do with me, but they're the smart company. So it's when you talk about smart technology, you're talking about technology that moves you forward, right? All Phillips Connect technology is proactive, is forward thinking, is technology that's to where the trucking industry is going, not necessarily to where it is right now. And, that's how advanced they are with their technology. And, there's no place like the NHRA racetrack for fleets, for trucks and trailers, but for technology too. So there's a really natural correlation that you'll see throughout the year.
All right, Jim. And yes, for everyone that may be wondering, this is the Jim Epler that you're familiar with in NHRA drag racing. And like when we had this set up, and I'm like, Jim Epler, that sounds familiar. Is that who? And lo and behold, it was who I thought it was. Yes, first man to 300 miles per hour in a funny car. 2000 U.S. Nationals winner, I believe, and you've won several national events as owner and driver. But I did some digging. Let's see, a radio, TV, advertising broker firm in the 1970s as your first business. Then had a Macintosh retail and mail order sales business, like the first in the world. And you get into this industry in 2009. You also were over Saturn Motorsports. Who knew that was a thing? Like, Jim, you've done a lot, dude, well beyond going fast in a funny car.
Yeah, I mentioned this a lot. Drag racing bit me hard. If I was smart, I would have stayed in the computer business and made a lot of money and retired, right? But, it bites you. And I went racing for 10 years. And it really kind of led me, to where I'm at right now. One of my sponsors at the time, got me connected to telematics. And I really took an interest in being in this business. But, I tell Justin this all the time, but in our team and our customers, but what we do, and I design all of our products, and I design those because of using everything that I learned in drag racing, the efficiency of the installation and the serviceability and all those things. And so it's a real tie-in, and everything I learned has just been invaluable in our ability to install all of this technology in under an hour on a loaded trailer is something nobody else can do. And but I've done a lot, but it's I've really found a home here. Just outstanding. Love the fact that I can get back into racing, and the timing was right. But my job is 100% to support Justin and do what it takes, to help him win. And it's all about winning. That's why when I left in 2001, if you don't think you can, win, you don't have the funding, it's no fun anymore. So I wanted to be with a winning team, and we're going to get a whole new fan base behind Justin. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, it's good to hear from you, Jim, because you definitely were a candidate for where are they now from the world of drag racing. So it's definitely good to hear from you. And wow, what a talented sucker you are. That's an impressive resume, man. Keep up the good work.
So I know that now people know I'm going to come to the races. I'll get all kinds of die-cast cars coming out, and you'll know where to find me at Justin Ashley's pit.
There we go.
Pulling out all the good stuff. But so like you said, merging these companies, merging what you guys are doing, and when you look at, saying, what, we want to be a part of this, Justin, and we think you're a good candidate. When you look at the return and the investment that you're doing, how do you see that growing your business? How do you see that growing? What you've already done?
Well, we're looking for new business, and we've landed some major accounts here lately, and we have a reseller channel. We've got a lot of potential, and I just kind of go back into what I've done, in the past, and it is about that business to business, and I call it relationship selling. You develop relationships at the track, and then what you do, following that, to help you close business, makes the job so much easier. People like to buy from people. We could have the best products in the world, but it's those relationships in racing, that's just been extremely valuable. I was with Joe Gibbs Racing when I first got into this, and we did a lot in NASCAR. And to me, NHRA still is the best venue, for doing that. And the drivers are so accessible, and I look at Justin, and his accessibility, that he wants to be there, and he wants to go to the shows. He wants to, be there, with customer visits, and that's a lot what I did, when I raced, and that's how we're going to grow the business, and we got to have the right person, and I'm just really excited to be, tied in with Justin and his team and the Davis Motorsports team.
So, Jim, for clarity's sake, in layman terms, for everyone viewing and that may view, what are the products exactly?
Well, we call it smart trailer, so that's always a good question, right? So, a smart trailer could be, where's my trailer? It just has a GPS tracking device on it. We've taken it way past that, So, on a tractor, you got a central ECU, and you can plug into it, and you get all the diagnostics of what's going on in the trailer. What we do, outside of the ABS module that we read for brake faults, we have to put a tremendous amount of sensors on the trailer. So just imagine, for example, Justin touched on autonomous. Autonomous is coming. We're going to have tractors that are pulling trailers. Those tractors have to know the health of the trailer. So we monitor the health of the trailer. Essentially, that's what we do. So we monitor all of the tire pressures. These air systems, have regulators and air tanks, and we have cameras that are mounted in the rear to see what the condition of the cargo, if it's loaded or if it's empty, fault codes, and we want to make sure that when the trailer, number one, driver shortages are huge. I think that Josh Hart, spoke on that with RNL, and to keep drivers and to incentivize drivers, they got to want to pick up a trailer that's healthy. Nobody wants to come and connect to a trailer, that has, flat tires or issues with it, or it's half loaded. And so that's really what Phillips Connect does. We are smart trailer technology. Phillips Industries, which, is our parent company, they make all of the air and electrical, for the transportation industry. They're in 100% of all the tractors that are out there, and 70% of the trailers have Phillips Industries air and electrical systems. So, this is just we're the technology end of that business. And as you can imagine, having all that technology available is the way of the future. We're going to put this stuff on, Justin's haulers, and so you'll be able to see some of this stuff live. This tech trailer that Justin talked about, I'm really excited about, because we're going to drag this around the country and take the show, to our customers. And my ultimate goal, honestly, would be to have the customers come to us at the races, and then be able to, to see the technology at the races. So, we want to bring fans, to NHRA, and you guys know, when you bring a fan to the race, you own them. The TV does not do it justice. You get there, especially if you're part of a team, you're part of a winning driver. That's really what I'm looking forward to. So this thing came together really fast. I kind of talked to Justin a few times, and originally we were going to do, Gainesville, because we had that big show, and so he's given us an opportunity to do these 3 races. And my job, and I take this very seriously, is to make sure this pays off, for our company, and also keeps it going for Justin.
So once they see there, you guys are located in California. Are you guys looking for help? I mean, when you get to the track, especially in California, if there's people that are willing to come, are you guys looking for help? How can we help you promote it? Get people to your door and your site.
Yeah, those are good questions. We're trying to put all this together right now. The fortunate thing is, Justin mentioned Amber White. That name may not be familiar with a lot of people, but she was in HRA marketing for many years, and she knows the business as well. So we're trying to figure out how this all ties in. Certainly, Justin's hospitality in HRA, has been extremely helpful, and we may do a program with them as well. And what happens at the races? One thing about is once you get involved, we start meeting people and talking about opportunities will continue to come up to help drive business, and these things are win-win. So I'm just excited to get started.
Well, gentlemen, look, we know that you are on a time crunch. I've got one last question for Justin. Justin, I've always told you, I'm taking photos of you. Give me the broody Justin, not the smile, but give me the broody Justin. So I've got to ask, with all the promotions with Toyota, how long did it take to get this photo? I have to ask.
That was take 17. No, I'm just kidding. So we went through, that was a fun day. I think to be a part of, Team Toyota is really an honor when you look at, the list of drivers that they have in NHRA and NASCAR throughout all different forms of motorsports. So really excited about that venture. And we definitely took numerous photos, some serious, some smiling, but I'm not exactly the type to be mean mugging around. So I think that the smile probably fit a little bit better, but the cool part about Toyota is that, they help you to build your brand. And when they help you to build your brand, it helps to build, our associated brands like Phillips Connect, like Vita C-Shot, like Lucas Oil, Toyota themselves, Auto Shocker, and all our sponsors. So just all arrows pointing up for 2022.
Yes, sir. Love what Toyota does. Toyota takes it upon themselves to get their drivers out front and visible in front of folks. So definitely, hopefully have you back and do a deep dive on what that has been like with their promotional team. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Good to hear from both of you. Look forward to seeing you at the Winter Nationals.
Thanks for having us on, guys. I appreciate it. If you want to come by and take a look at the technology, come swing on by.
We'll do. Y'all have a good night.
Okay. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Jim.
Good night.
Well, Sam, during that portion, I didn't bring up the image for the hauler itself, but that's a good looking rig right there.
I see the race car in it. That's
I
what
like
that
it.
was earlier. I couldn't tell what that was earlier. I was looking at on my phone, but now I see it.
You see the light. You see the silhouette of a top fuel dragster streaking at over 330 miles per hour. That's a good looking rig. That is a solid rig. I like it.
Yep. Oh, it's clean. That's one thing I can say about Justin's stuff. I mean, he puts on a clean, crisp show, and that's what it's all about, right? I mean, the guy has built a brand and a name for himself, and everyone is catching on to it, and his style that he goes about, with just so calm in every moment. The big moments, the bad moments, the ugly moments, whatever ones. He's always simply so calm in what he does, and that's why Justin is going to be, and why he already is a powerhouse in our sport. So, well, congratulations to him.
Definitely, congratulations, Justin. Congratulations to Jim Epler for bringing a name to drag racing we haven't seen, and his past experience in marketing and business, and that all coming together. And we now know what he's doing, and that's one less episode of Where Were They Were in drag racing that we've got to do. Jim is back in the game in some way, some way, form, or fashion. So that's pretty cool. That is definitely cool for a man that is high there on the history books of funny car racing.
Very, very true. I mean, there's not many people that can say, yeah, I'm one of the first to do something in our sport. But to have that, like baseball, you hear, oh, he Mr. 300. You know what I mean? Hockey, your 300th win or your 300th goal or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Right.
300 mile an hour, like,
And mind you, it was 1993, a time in which everybody would have given something like that to John Force, but he got there first. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
that's one of your gotcha moments.
Bingo. Hey, we're about to have on a pro mod guy, a professional modified guy.
There you go. Thank
Doug
you.
Winters. I'm looking forward to talking to him because he has had very interesting marketing partners from the shoebox to the Chevelle. And he was a part of the discussion with Brett Kepner and some interesting sponsorship announcements. So looking forward to chatting with him, and maybe we can get the reverse and get some good Brett Kepner stories from Mr. Winters. You think we can get that, Sam?
This is one thing I'm going to say before we go to a break. I met Doug. I think it was at the World Series of Pro Mod or one event. I forget what it was. And we clicked instantly. Aaron and all of us, we clicked. Doug, the way that they do things is old school. It's family oriented. It is, we're going to get it done. We're going to take our time, do it at our pace, but they're out there having fun. I've seen them down at the World Door Slammers last year. They've all got their bikes down at their trailer, and they're like, you know what? After we leave here, we're riding our bikes to Gainesville. Like it's just so fun. Like, I don't know. You never know what you're going to get with Doug. I'm letting you know, but I think he's got a couple of stories. I mean, he can probably tell a story about me getting stuck in an airport in Indy. Oh, wait, so can you. But,
Yeah, I can. Yes.
Hey, he was in the airport. He was sitting in the airport when I was sitting in the airport. It's like, what the heck? I guess we're all getting stuck here. What? What?
You saw everybody saw you stuck. They were all trying to get out, and they did get out.
Everybody else. Yeah, how did that work? Everybody else was leaving. Like, I saw Ron Capps. I saw probably 3 or 4 other people. Everybody else got on their flights to get out. It was just coming to BFE where I live. You couldn't get out. Even though they were delayed and there was a snowstorm, tornadoes and rainstorms coming in, Indy. Everybody else left. That's what happens when the runway is lined with spotted cows where I live, Had to herd them all up. Couldn't see them in the snowfall, but hey.
Yes, Dragster Jeff C. Ryder. Yes, Cruz was the 93 champ, and he's the only champion in the 90s other than John Force. So he stopped John's run there, and then John picked it right back up. And then Jim made that mark of 300.
Speaking of Cruz, he had a car down at the Chili Bowl.
Not only did he have a car, but he got in a car.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he got into a car.
Yes.
But yeah, I know he had a car down there, and that's cool to see, man. That's what it's all about, is expanding and being able to do something, like challenge yourself to become a better driver during the off season. And if you have those opportunities, do what you got to do. It's like me. I'm going to spill some beans, Lee, but I'm on the road to have the J.R. Todd look for the 2022 season.
Okay.
That's maybe my schedule will fill up if I look like him. I can go in as a twin, something.
Right. Yeah. So Cruz had his car. He does own a midget, and AJ, I believe the guy.
A midget car. You have to say a midget car, Lee, especially in today's society.
I'll say that. Yes, I know. Midget.
You can't just say he owns.
Entered into the Chili Bowl, but there was a opening with another team, and they asked Cruz to hop in it, and it was his first time in like 10 years since he had raced in the Chili Bowl, because he had done it in the past. So, it's a cool deal. I love seeing drag racers hopping into other motorsports, because so often drag racers get this stigma around, oh, you only go in a straight line. Like, well, a lot of times they're doing a whole lot of turning to go straight, for one. but there's more to it than that. And oftentimes drag racers have proven themselves in other motorsports that they are capable drivers. Just like I said last week with Ed the Ace McCullough and Eddie Hill. Go find it. You can find it. It's out there. It's mind-boggling.
So do you think he had his fire suit with him, or does he just buy one and be like, yeah?
No.
Hey,
Crew, Caleb. Yeah, Caleb Cox, general manager, Cruise Petragon. He sent me a text. He's like, hey, be on Outlook. This is going to go on Facebook later. But I just overnighted his helmet and fire suit. So, yep, they air mailed it overnight.
Oh.
Yep.
It will be nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, a word from Holly on lighting up your path. And then we've got Mr. Winters on.
Classic car owners, make your headlights over twice as bright with Holley Retro Bright LED headlights. A plug-in replacement for those dim halogen seal beams, Retro Bright maintains that classic look and lasts 6 times longer. Stay safe and click the link below to learn more.
Doug, how's it going tonight, man?
Hey guys, how's it going? I don't think I like the Mr. Winters part, but that's okay. I'm here.
Well. Now remember, we've got to recognize you as a distinguished gentleman, being a part of the pro modified class, professional modified class.
I'm not sure distinguished ever entered my pretext into my name, but we'll go with that. That sounds good.
And everybody's got to be somebody.
Yeah, there you go. Professional modified. I don't know about that. I still like pro mod, but I know we don't, we're working on the respect, but pro mod's got a better ring than professional mod, I think.
Ooh,
I know it does, but I have to say it. No. That's not a shot to the heart or anything. I have to say it because I am sick. I'm just sick of it. Like, you guys deserve the damn respect to be on the stage on Sundays. And if I don't care what I have to do or what I have to say, or even if I have to go up and grab the mic out of Joe Costello's hand this year and yell it to the rooftops, as Wes Buck would say, I want professional modified on the stage on Sundays. You guys goddamn well deserve it.
I appreciate that. I mean, even like I think I've heard people talk about Minnesota when they didn't have pro stock there or pro stock bikes. They had 2 people on the stage and no pro modified winner, even though we were the quote unquote 3rd professional class there for that weekend. But it is what it is. Maybe one of these days, if we get lucky, maybe we'll be part of the Camping World Series. Who knows?
Doug, why do you think that is? Why do you believe that is? I suspect that the IHRA was Pro Mod's home for decades, and the IHRA becomes what it is now. And Pro Mod, hey, where do we go? What do we do? And NHRA picks them up. But just like Mountain Motor Pro Stock, it's like you weren't a part of us, and it's been a very, very slow, gradual process. You think that has anything to do with it? That it's like, hey, we didn't establish you here, and it's going to take a while for you to earn your chops?
No, I don't think so. I think, as my brother says, when you question what the answer is, always look to the money, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, they have their deal with Camping World. Camping World revolves around 4 classes, right? And so we all know those classes, and Pro Modified is just not one of them. So from a perspective of the title sponsorship of Camping World, if they were to wanting Pro Mod into the actual Camping World Series, I think it would be there. Why it's not, who knows? Like I said, I think it's the money aspect of it all, but maybe one of these days we'll be part of the Camping World Series and be a part of the stage after the events are over, when everybody's standing on the stage.
And that's what it's all about, I think. No, it totally is, right? And what we need to do is, I think my biggest thing for this year is to pick a certain class and follow them and give them as much, airtime and as much love as that I possibly can. And right now I am looking at professional modified. It's got an ugly ring to it, doesn't it? When you say Pro Mod, everybody's like, oh, pro. it's pro mod, right? No one bats an eye. But when you say professional modified, you're like, what? What is he talking about? And then you go into pro mod. But unless we put people in the forefront, we take these cars and these drivers and continue to shove it down everyone's face, how else are we going to get that title sponsor to be like, hey man, why aren't they a part of it, right? Like this guy's got a damn kick-ass bass guitar. Why is he not in the band?
Right.
Like you guys make as much power. You guys put on a damn good show. Why are we not putting you guys on the stage? And I think it just comes to, like you said, the money and the respect. And the only way to do that is just give you guys more airtime, give you guys more love, continue to talk about you guys, and continue guys to put you to the forefront. And the old cliche West Buckism, you can't bitch unless you can't dance to your own music unless you're beating your own drum, or however you say it, right? Like, I mean, that's what we have to do. And I think that's my goal for this year, is to pick a class and say, you know what, hey, I'm going to shove this down you guys' throat till you guys tell me to stop or that you're sick of it.
Oh, I love that. I love the attitude. I appreciate that. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship with the NHRA. You know, they bring a lot to the table for us as pro modified racers, and hopefully we bring as much or more to them than they bring to us. So, you know, we're continually working with them. We're continually looking at things that we can do to enhance the class, to make it better for NHRA and us as well. And, you know, are we there? No, we're not there, but you know, I'm still optimistic about getting there to the forefront and being a part of the big show, even though we are there at most events. But as you know, there's still skepticism about pro modified and where we are standard associated with all the rankings of NHRA. But you know, if you look back 10 years ago, I think we've advanced the class quite a bit. RPM and helped us out for quite a bit to get to where we are. And when NHRA took over the class after RPM, you know, we had growing pains, but you know, we're continually working with them, and we'll see what comes up in the future. And let's get through 2022 and see where we can go from there.
So Drag Racing Central often likes to mention what would help NHRA Pro Mod and make it grow. Let me guess, 8th Mile. I want to ask this. You do see now, yes. So,
I've already been asked this question by numerous people, including some NHRA people. But and I told them I would not attend an NHRA event if it runs 8th Mile. Period. I don't care if it's in Charlotte. I don't care if it's in Las Vegas. I don't care if it's in Brainerd. Winners Racing will not be there if they're running 8th Mile. There you
go. And I feel like with all the 8th Mile Pro Mod racing that is out there, and I love 8th Mile Pro Mod racing, do not get me wrong, but the NHRA is unique in that aspect. We're still doing quarter mile baddest door slammers on the planet. And that is a fascinating, interesting, marketable platform for you guys.
Right. I told them if I'm going to run 8th Mile, I'll just stay around here and run the East Coast and run 8th Mile. I'm not driving to Las Vegas or Dallas, or Las Vegas not on the schedule, but to Dallas to run 8th Mile. You know, I understand it's NHRA, but to my point, when you run 8th Mile and everybody else is running quarter, fuel cars 1,000 foot, but when everybody else is running something different and you look at it from a perspective of what's going on, you look like an exhibition class, right? So you're out there everybody's like, why are they letting off at an 8th Mile mark? They don't understand the spectator setting in the stand. So you look like an exhibition class. If you want to be a part of the show, which we want to be, obviously, we've got to run the quarter mile. It's the prestige about NHRA Pro Mod is running the quarter mile.
Boom.
Well, and let's, but I will say for a fact, the reason they're looking at, the reason they're looking at 8th Mile, they're trying to get more cars, right? So everybody knows they're trying to get more cars. You run 8th Mile, they're thinking they'll get people crossing over to run 8th Mile. You may get it. You may get regional people running 8th Mile that may show up. However, they've got a lot of other issues showing up. Is everything certified? Is their head legal? Is, it goes on and on. Is their fire bottles been recertified? Has their wheels been recertified? It goes on and on and on. Nobody's going to show up saying, take my 8th mile car and show up at an NHRA event and hope to get in when he goes through tech certification. It's not going to happen. But I understand them trying to get more cars. And my goal is, and I've told them before, instead of trying to find more cars, last year we had over 32 cars participate in NHRA. So why not cater to those 32 cars and find out how we can get them at all the events instead of only 16 showing up out of the 32 that competed out through the year. So if you only get, 80% or 75% of those 32 to go to 10 races, you've got 20, 25 cars per event. So that's what they should be focusing on instead of trying to find other cars to enter each event.
There you go. There you go. Problem solved.
Mike, drop. Any more questions out of you guys?
Right.
Doug's got the answer.
I loved what I had Melanie Salemi on my show on Thursday night recently, and Melanie mentioned, she's like, there's nothing like taking a door car through the top end at the quarter mile. And she's like, it's spectacular. It is great. And the only reason they're not doing NHRA is really the rules package. That's why.
Well, it rules, and it is hard on parts. You can talk to Chip King, you can talk to the guys that run the 8th mile like Chip run NMCA this year, versus NHRA. He'll tell you the parts attrition. I mean, even myself, when I hit the 8th mile mark and that thing clicks into 3rd gear and I look up and the finish line is way down there, I feel sorry for the darn motor. It's like screaming at 10 grand for like 2 seconds getting to the finish line. You just feel sorry for it. You're like, I'm sorry, and throw the chutes. You're just like, it's really, really tough on the motor to do that. But it is what it is. And, everybody's on the same page associated with trying to make their combination work to the quarter mile. And, it's fun going 200. I think I went 252 one time. I'm not sure the clock was right, but we went 252 one time in Palm Beach a few years ago. But, to go 240 mile an hour, yeah, these guys are running 200 plus an 8th mile. That's impressive.
Right.
That's really impressive. But, let's see you do that with a roots blower running at 14.5 on an NHRA prep track to the 8th mile with the rules package we have, and that's what it is. And I'm an engineer. I'm an electrical engineer at heart. So I love the data. And as I told you guys while I was sitting here looking at this, I'm pumping in data from last year, trying to figure out, we break down things from not only, you look at the 60, 330 foot and 8th mile. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the incrementals and trying to figure out why this run was 0.002 different than the run before and figure out how to get that 0.002 back so it can add up down the track to maybe 100th of a second to give us a little better ET. So it's really an engineering philosophy that drives this thing for us and me personally to all the variables associated with running a quarter mile and how to get that thing to compete at the finish line through a quarter mile trap.
A lot goes into it. You posted a picture this year in Brainerd that kind of, I don't want to say stirred the pot, but you dropped a nice big rock down in someone's little pond about your car compared to the other cars in the class.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
When-
Ooh.
Yeah, like, did you think when you posted that it was gonna shake the interweb the way it did?
No, not really, but I'll give you a backstory to that. So we're at the World Series of Pro Modified in Denver, right? So we're in the staging lanes. We pull the car down the staging lanes. If you know Denver, there's a big hill, and you just like coast to the start line. Well, next thing I know, Stevie rolls up behind me. And, it's late at night and we're all having a good time because it's a World Series of Pro Modified and everybody's kind of relaxed and stuff. And I get back there and I look at his car and I go, holy smokes, I can like hold my hands this far between the two headlights or semi headlights on the front of his car. And I like good grief, this is ridiculous. And he goes, yep, I'm going to keep running until they tell me I can't. But, kudos to him. He's taking advantage of the rules. So, it's always been a part of us and a part of our race team to run the nostalgia car. As you guys know, I've run 55 Chevys in Top Sportsman. I've run 57 Chevys in Pro Mod. I've run a 58 Corvette in Nitro Coupes. We've never had the mainstream car associated with the aerodynamics. We try to keep to the true pro modified historical aspects of the class. So we've always done something different, and the Chevelle fits right in. Even though it's not a 57, you can't run a 57 or a 55 in a quarter mile. There's just no way. It's like trying to push a brick through a windstorm. So it's not going to happen. So, but the Chevelle does give, it looks like a Chevelle, and thanks to Andy McCoy, who's taken his time and went through that car and did I think he told me he did 5 iterations. He actually bought a regular 69 Chevelle, made a mold of it and started cutting on it, made another one, started cutting on it, made another one. So, kudos to him to make it look like a 69, but we still have an aerodynamic disadvantages, and that picture showed that, right? You pull it up to the staging lanes, there it is. You pull it up to staging lanes, and luckily Baldoff was right beside of me, beside Stevie on the other side with his 69, which, there's now 3 of them, with Frigo make their 3rd. But you can see the difference. And if you start studying aerodynamics, it's slope and drag is a lot of it, but frontal area is a huge portion. Frontal area and rear area. So if you look at the late model Camaros, small frontal area, and then if you look at the back of the cars, very narrow rear area in the back end, to where it looks like a teardrop. When you think about it from an aerodynamics perspective, what's the most aerodynamic thing? A teardrop. When a raindrop comes down from the skies, it forms to whatever shape that is least resistance on it. So it ends up like a teardrop. And if you look at that new late model Camaro, it is a teardrop. It's got small frontal area. It tears to the back, and it's perfect aerodynamics. And I think we're giving up at least, 5, 3, 4, let's pick a number, 3, 4, 5 mile an hour from the 8th mile to the finish line, that we are being hampered associated with the running the 69 Chevelle.
That's serious.
Yeah, and it is serious, because we like the car. My sponsor Steiner, he loves it, right? He loves the 69 Chevelle. He likes being something different. He always been different. So we like running the 69. It's a beautiful car. You could imagine how many people come up to us and say, "Man, that thing, my dad used to have one. I used to have one." Et cetera, because it looks like a 69 Chevelle, and it's something different. So from that perspective, we love running the car. And so, we're trying to make it competitive. I told NHRA at the beginning of the year, or last year, actually, I need some help, or otherwise I'm going to build a late model Camaro, because I've got to be competitive. And, you need to incentivize not only me, but other racers not to keep building late model Camaros. So, we're getting there. I don't know if this is widely known, but if they change the rules, and we got a 50-pound weight break.
Well, that's definitely a great start, and I hope it would definitely be an advantage to the old school body styles. Because look, I grew up in the Southeast. Southeast is pro mod country. I was a Scotty Cannon fan, Super Chevy shows, Nitro Coupes.
Yep.
And I remember when it was like nothing but Studebakers and shoeboxes. And it was a cool time. And granted, I get it. There usually is that one dominant body, whether it has been the Corvette or now the Camaro, but we are, I think, in the most homogenous time Pro Mod has really ever seen. And somebody do something different. Like, I loved it when I believe it's Mr. Ed Sullivan, he did the Mercury this year and kind of proved, at least within that rule package, that you can still be competitive. They made it competitive for that old style body. So, yes, give y'all some incentive and Get some more old school bodies out there. It'd be cool.
Yeah, that's the reason the treadmill's behind me, is because I got to get some weight off, and the car can't take too much. So I'm trying to get my weight off as well. Because we did a calculation. If you do some math, kind of interesting story. If you do some math, I've calculated that each pound off the race car costs $3,500. So, when you look to something to take weight off the car, if it's 10 pounds, it's going to cost you $3,500 to lose 10 pounds. So I figured, well, why don't I lose 10 pounds? And that's worth $3,500.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it. Good way to look at it.
Everybody that's watching that had that New Year's resolution, they're going to lose weight. It's worth money.
If you're racing.
Lee, don't tell them. You're not supposed to tell them that part.
Well, that's what Doug just said. In racing.
Oh yeah,
take it in moderations, Lee.
Yeah, weight is money in racing. I definitely agree with that.
Definitely. Well, man, look. So this photo, in its current rendition, or at least last year's, not sure what you're going to do wrap-wise coming up this year. Beautiful car once again. When you had the Bandit series on it, beautiful car once again. And a little fuzzy photo right here, but Meteor, when it was on, I mean, whatever, the car looks great. So I've got to ask, with showing all those photos, how do you find these interesting marketing partners? Like, I mean, Steinar, like, why in the world does a company that produces, I'll say, skylifts, not sure what the particular nomenclature is, why are they on a pro mod?
Well, it's got to do with Craig Kuckerberg, who's the owner of Steiner, right? And so he was actually the owner of Minimizer too, if you remember the Minimizer car. But it all boils back to marketing and putting yourself out there and finding the actual people that are willing to be a partner with you at the racetrack. Now, as you guys know, and we've talked about it, Pro Modified doesn't get all the gist that we think they should on the TV shows and that sort of thing. So you've got to look for different avenues. You got to look for sponsors that are willing to go with you and partner with you, that are looking for more than just being on the TV. And that's what we've tried to do over the years. And I think we've been pretty successful with it. So, our end goal, and sort of like Justin talked about earlier, not only hospitality, but making the people that show up at the races from our sponsors, VIPs or customers, make them a part of the team. And that's what we try to do. So at each event, you'll come by our pit area. We'll maybe have 10 people out there, and you'll say, man, he's got it going on. Well, that's what we're doing. We're inviting the local VIPs or the local customers associated with Steiner this year into the pit area. And, they have business decisions, of buying decisions of when they want to buy the next staircase or the tug or whatever they want to do for the ground support equipment. They have a decision to make. And if we can influence that decision associated with being in our pit area, making them a part of the team, showing them a great weekend, then they'll be a Steiner customer for life. And when they walk away, they have a great time and everybody's happy. And we bring them into the pit area and make them a part of the team. I mean, I show them the computer, we show them the car, we bring them to the starting line, and everything works out associated with making sure that they feel like that to when they leave, that was the best weekend they had. So, and when we do that, Steiner's happy. Everybody's happy, and we move forward to the next event, and we do the same thing over again. So is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. We got to entertain a lot of people at the pit area each weekend, but that's a part of our deal associated with making sure that we're out there every weekend and being able to compete in such a high level as NHRA Pro Modified.
Sam, I can see it.
Lee,
now.
I want you to catch how many times you said Pro Modified. All we got to do is just change. We just got to get professional, like just professional, and then we tie that in with modified.
Sam,
I'm winning. I win.
Sam,
what?
You're going up against like 30 years of saying a class's name. And by the way, Brett Kepner came up with it.
Yeah, there you go. Good old Brett.
Yes.
Well, Brett, I just gonna put some gear in this thing, and we. I'm not Ricky. I can't do a good Ricky. But I gotta ask another thing, and I think it's been anyone that's ever been to your pit, Doug, they've seen it. You always have a couple of friends.
Careful now.
See, I have to think about it because I don't want to get a message from Sam later. And what did you say? You always have a couple of friends that are there at the track that are supporting Winters Racing.
Yeah, well, we call them promo models, and that's exactly what they are. So when you think about when you bring 10 people into an event, 10, 12 people, are you going to go get them the tickets? Are you going to go meet them at the gate? Are you going to make sure that they need to be where they need to be and cater to them all the time? Or are you going to run the race car, right? So that's their job, and that's what they're good for. But would you rather have Sam picking you up at at the gate, or would you rather have me picking you up at the gate, right? So
I see what you did there. Are you talking about me, Sam, or Sam?
No, Sam.
I thought you were talking about me.
All right. Yeah, which Sam would you rather picking you up? You Sam, or the promo girl Sam model? But
Sam, Sam, I knew that he wasn't referring to you as Sam on the show. I knew that.
Lee, we're supposed to be a team here, okay? But yes, I would pick Sam over myself any day.
So that's their job, right? So that's their responsibility, and they're there for a reason. It's not, it's from a perspective of that and social media. And they handle all the recording of the runs and posting them and taking pictures of the customers there and the VIPs and stuff. So it works out great for us as well, because I can concentrate on running the race car, which that's what we're primary there for. But making sure that the guests and the hospitality's in line with making sure that everything goes good. It's kind of funny. Oh. It's kind of funny. We'll have a group of, we've had Delta in the pit area. I've had, Signature Flights. We've had Napa people. We've had all kind of different representatives of customers of Steiner. And the worst weekends we'll have is we'll kick a rod out and we're changing the motor and we're working on it, and they're all sitting over there looking at us from a perspective of, they'll come over and ask us questions and things, and we're, fighting fires, trying to get ready for the next run and stuff. And, we'll have a crappy weekend and we'll walk away and it's like hanging our heads and stuff. And they'll come up to us, man, this is the greatest weekend we ever had in our life. Seeing you guys work on that motor and, trying to get it back together and fighting a good fight and trying to get there, it's a great weekend. And we're like, well, I'm glad you guys had a good time. It kind of sucked for us. We got to load this thing up and go to the next race. But, it is what it is. And we enjoy all the people, and you'd be surprised, we still stay in touch with a number of the people that show up as the VIPs. They become, friends of Winters Racing and continue. And they show up on the events that they're not even invited to, that they want to come and say, sure, come on back. But, it's a lifelong perspective of making these friends with these personalities and staying with them. So it's worked out great and we enjoy it.
Well, it's definitely a smart thing to have along with your brand as a race team. I mean, been a long history of beautiful ladies involved in motorsports, from Linda Vaughn to Paddock Girls, whatever. So it does make sense, and your car looks good. You've got great looking gals associated with it. And
I need to mention though. Hold on. So my wife Erin, she was a promo girl. That's when I met her back in, holy smokes, 1990. Oh, she's gonna kill me now. Let me look up my
Don't say the rest of it. Don't say the rest of it. Bad internet connection. Yeah.
She was a Hooters girl at a promo, and I think it was Sevilleville when we were doing a match race back in when we had the Hooters 55 Chevrolet. So, and it's worked out for me pretty good. So there you go.
There you go. Sam, I can see it, man. Plane lands, Steinar, staircases come up, Doug Winters come out of the plane, suit, helmet in hand, girls to the side. He hops into the Chevelle and long smoky burnout down the taxi.
It is a beautiful smoky burnout.
Yeah, that's it. That's a commercial. How do you do it?
There you go.
Yeah, we got a lot of old stories about when we was running IHRA in the Hooters car. It's like we had Steve Collison, I think it was, rest his soul, was doing a feature for Drag Illustrated, the old Drag Illustrated back in the 90s at Bud's Creek. We were there running the Quick 8 and Top Sportsman, and we had the girls out from the local Hooters place, and he was doing a photo shoot of us, and we torched the head on one of the qualifying runs and didn't have a spare head. So we just stuck the motor back together to do the photo shoot. So it was kind of crazy stuff. And then we get back and they say, there's back in the day, there used to be a machine shop at the IHRA events. Did you guys know that? There used to be a trailer there full of, CNC, not CNC, but actual lathes and stuff associated with the IHRA. And somebody come up to and said, there's a trailer over there. You might be able to get your head fixed. Sure enough, we've got the welder. They used to have a welder there too. I don't even think we have that anymore. There was a welder that would go around. I forget his name now. Ask Kepner next time you talk to him. And he welded up the head, and we took it over to the machine trailer, and they cut it back down. And we were fighting fires to get ready for the Quick 8 on Saturday night. Throw the head on there. There's people everywhere in the pit area. Throw the head on there, slap on the front end, and go run. And I don't know if you guys ever remember IHRA in Bud's Creek. Boy, it used to be jam-packed on Saturday night. And all I remember is, putting the helmet on, getting the car, doing the burnout, and there was nothing but flash bulbs flashing, when we did the burnout on Saturday night. That Quick 8 Top Sportsman deal was the fun part back in then. But, cool stories associated with all the things that we've gone through over the years.
So definitely want to do some talking about the past. Before we do that, I got a lot of questions myself. Your first race this year, what's on the schedule? What's it looking like for NHRA? Any outlaw stuff? What's 2022 look like?
Yeah, so the screw blower deal, right? So screw blowers are now legal. We're putting one on order. I'm not going to start out with it, but I think it's going to end up being screws at the end of the year, which kind of helps as well, because when you think about it, this outlaw racing, screw blowers is needed, right? So we can run a roots blower with outlaw racing, but the weight disadvantage that we have is at these events, they say you can weigh with a roots blower 2450. Well, there's no way we can get to 2450. I'd be lucky to get to 2550 unless we get somebody to drive the car that weighs 80 pounds, but I don't think that's going to happen. But there's no way we can get to 2450. If we could, I think we could be very, very competitive running with outlaw with the roots, but we can't get there. So therefore, having a screw blower would actually play into that, being able to run some of these outlaw races. But nonetheless, so what we start out with is obviously, with the NHRA schedule, I'm committed to that, the 10 races. So we'll be out in Gainesville with our roots blower, hopefully with a good combination to qualify good and go some rounds.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, last year we had the luck of the draw with having the door slammers leading up to Gainesville. A lot of people got to test and got to shake things out and figure out a couple combinations. With events like that, Wes had the World Series of Pro Mod. You had the World Door Slammers. With events like that being kind of, I don't really want to say taken away, but kind of erased off of the board now because of different reasons. How do you feel about that? Like, there was more hope for the Pro Mod class, right? There was another chance for you guys to go out there and show your stuff against everyone. And now those kind of races are being, taken away, though, especially those two. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's tough, and it was advantageous to go to Orlando and do the testing, especially since they prep the track like an NHRA track, right? So I mean, when you go to these events, these outlaw races, it's not an NHRA track, and they'll tell you that it's a lot more grippy, it's a lot more glued. So from a perspective of the timing curves and the things that we run and the shock settings, and that is just totally different when you go to one of those outlaw races. So having the Orlando race was pretty good to get there. So, we've got tracks around here that are willing to prep the track as best we can to an NHRA like Darlington. We've done Darlington quite a bit. They do a good job of making it close to an NHRA prep track. So, we're looking at that. And I do have something on my sleeve that I'm not going to tell you about leading up to Darlington, but you'll find out sooner or later.
Ooh, okay. Keep an eye on winners list. Yes.
I don't want
season continues.
I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you what it is because I'm afraid everybody else to join in, which I'm trying to get an advantage. So, that's it.
I understand. Hey, racers got to race. Racers got to race. I hear you.
I'll tell you what it is when I show up to the racetrack.
there you go. So, talking about days of the past. Look, loved Pro Mod as a kid growing up here in the Southeast. Nitro Coupe. That seems like a very wild period in Door Slammer era and what has happened between doors with slicks on them. Can you describe that time period, what was going on, and, why we don't have Nitro Coupe to today?
Yeah. It was a crazy time, and we were fortunate to get into it. So we were in Top Sports and running Top Sportsman and looking to move into Pro Modified at the time. And along come Jim Oddie was helping us out with our motors at the time, and he said, hey, we're starting this Nitro Coupe thing in Super Chevy. Might be something you guys might be interested in. And so we looked into it and talked to it. And back in the day, it was a booked-in deal with Dwayne Nichols. He would book you in for the events, and we were happy with it, associated with trying it. Nobody knew anything about it, and we were allowed 30% nitromethane on a blower motor. So the 30% nitromethane when we showed up. Everybody at the first race, I'll never forget it. We had Jim Oddie there, had Bill Coolman, Jeff Brozowicz, the list goes on. I think Stawicki was there at the time. Everybody was like, okay, well, what do we do? How do we set this tune up with 30% nitromethane? And all of us was putting we were like putting 3% in it, right? So we were just like putting enough, and you wouldn't believe the smell for 3%. I mean, it would drive you out of the pit area because you weren't used to it. But we were putting 3%, and Coolman's over there sticking 30% in it, trying to figure it out. He'd go run and blow it up, come back, change the motors, dump 30% in again, run, blow it up again. So everybody would try to creep up on it except for Coolman. But it was crazy days, and when we finally figured it out, it took a while to where we finally got to the 30% level. And it was kind of interesting. The things we learned over the course is when 3%, it acted like an alcohol motor, 4%, 5% alcohol. And when you started getting the teens, the 13, 14, 15% nitromethane, it really got unhappy, right? We started doing all kind of crazy stuff associated with, pre-ignition and beating the crap out of the rods. And it just got really volatile in the teen area. But when you got up to the 22, 23, 24 area, it started calming back down and started acting more like a nitro motor to where it wanted more fuel. So it was kind of interesting. And I've got log books of data associated with running anything from 3% up to 30% on how it works. But it was an exciting time. We were competitive in the quarter mile with, at the time, Pro Modified, so that really made it fun associated with it. And the word nitro just brings it out, right? So the smell, the sound, all that perspective associated with it. We really loved running Nitro Coupes. Why is it not here? Because it really hurt a lot of parts. I mean, I couldn't go through all the stuff that we destroyed running nitromethane, but I would love to see it back, because I have a tune-up for 30%. So if you know anybody that wants to run 30% nitromethane in a match race, I'll give them a shot.
Man, yes, it was a wild time. I remember Bill's. I think he probably had the worst explosion fire in a door car ever. It just, wow.
Yeah, my wife helped drag him out of that thing at the top end. Jeff Brozowicz grabbed him, and they were all there getting him out. But yeah, it was really a really scary time. But he was trying to go 5 seconds, in a door car for the first time, and he got close. But that thing, like I said, volatility. It kicked the crankshaft out of the thing. It just knocked the crankshaft right out of the bottom of the pan, and it was on from there. So. Like I said, it was pretty volatile. And from the things that we go through, one quick story, we were in Indianapolis one year, and we were trying to creep up on the percentage and trying to figure this. And this is when we were around the teen percentage. It was late at night. We don't have any parts, right? We're just there, me and Alan and the family. We're trying to get this thing together. We're trying to, make sure that we got ready for eliminations on Sunday. And Alan goes through the bearings, and he drops the pan, and he's looking up there, and it's night and it's dark. He's looking up there, and he goes, I'm really tired, but I think these rods are bent. And I go, what do you mean bent? He goes, they're crooked. So we take the head off and pull one out, and it is actually crooked. And it's like, I have never seen a rod like that before in my life. It was actually bowed. So we're like, well, what do? We don't have any spare rods. And so we're looking around, and my dad at the time, he goes, let's put it under the tongue of the trailer and see if we can straighten the thing out. So we jack up the trailer, stick the rod under there, and drop the trailer on it to see if we can straighten it out. And we pull it back out, and it looks a little better, actually, but we had no choice. So we stuck the thing back in there and went to E1 the next day, and we made a pass. It didn't break, but we didn't win the round. But thank God we didn't round, because I think it would have come apart after that. But, that's the thing you went through growing up in Nitro Coops, just all the things we went through. And, having Brett Kepner there and the Super Chevy show and ESPN and, Ted, Master Entertainment and all that stuff. I mean, it was a fun time. And today somebody posted some videos. I think it was Alan Smith, posted some videos of Facebook of us running at Rockingham in 1999 against Bill Coolman. And we were running a whopping 650 and making rounds. So, but it was a cool time.
Talking about the good old days, like Brett Kepner, he took us down memory lane when he was on the show of just the different things. And my little Ricky impersonation there is, from him when he was on the show. But quick question before we, from one of the people, DRC says, what makes NHRA track prep unique? In your own words there, what do you think stands NHRA track prep compared to anyone else?
I will hand it to him. It's consistent, right? So if you go to Charlotte, or if you go to Gainesville, you get your pull meter out there, and it's pretty consistent, right? So, but it's not glued beyond belief, right? So, my wife Erin, when she backs me up, when we go to an outlaw event or something, she has to tighten her shoestrings up because it'll drag her feet, take her shoe off. It won't do it in NHRA. Is it tacky? Yes. But is it glued beyond belief? No. So, that perspective of making sure that you get the car off the line in that shake zone between, 1 second and 1.5 seconds is really tough at an NHRA event, because it's not, glued to crap to where you can just apply all the power you want to through there. You've got to, basically dance the car through that area to get it going, keep it up, keep the wheel speed up to get it through that area. So it's really tricky from that perspective. So what makes it unique about NHRA prep? One, it's consistent from track to track. Two, it's just not glued like, you see at PDRA events or any other event associated with outlaw racing.
Well, Doug, look, we've enjoyed the time that we have had with you tonight. Look forward to seeing you at the next event. I might reach out to you, do a shop tour, try to get some door car, John Kernan style things going on for the Pro Mod guys. I'm not too far from North Carolina. Before we let you go, though, so Brett Kepner had the airtime to share a story on you. We would like for you to share a story with Brett at the Focus.
I don't have anything bad to say about Brett, and then the stories. I'd have to think about one for a while to come up with one, but Brett was always there, and I'll tell you one story. So now that I think about it, I'll tell you one story. So we were at I don't even know what track. I think it was Epping, New Hampshire, right? So we're all at the starting line, and I leave the line in the car, and the yoke explodes on the drive line. And at the time, we didn't have any type of tunnel. We just had a loop, a drive shaft loop associated with in the car. Well, when the yoke exploded, the universal joint, the drive line started slapping the crap out of me, and it was actually broke the loop, and it was hitting me in the thigh. And all I could do was just try to slam on the brakes as hard as I could and pull the car over to the left. And it broke the Linko, it broke everything. I mean, there was fluid everywhere, and then I'm like over to the side of the car trying to get out of it after we finally got stopped because my leg is completely bruised. Ambulance comes, and my wife, Erin, she's all upset, right? Obviously, because, what's going on. Because all I said on the radio was, I'm hit. But anyway, so Brett Kepner's at the starting line with my wife, and he comes up to the ambulance and stuff, and they're checking me out, and everything's fine. And Brett looks at my wife, Erin, and goes, well, it could have been worse. He could be in a coffin right now. And ever since this day, that's all I hear from my wife is Brett Kepner's comment about how it could have been a lot worse associated with what happened to me. So, but we love Brett, and he's part of the family, and he's been around forever, and he knows his drag racing.
For sure. Sam, anything else, man?
No, not at all. I mean, I think I'm for sure gonna have Doug on my show, and like I said, with my focus this year on the true class that's out there that needs to be on the stage every Sunday. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go protest until they get you guys on the stage every Sunday. Professional, modified, to the drivers, the fun entertainment that we have out there.
You said your schedule is wide open. That means you're going to be in Gainesville, right?
Doug,
hold on. Wait. Let me check my schedule again. No one knows.
No one knows.
As of right now, no one knows. Hey, just like you said, I might keep a secret until I pull up at one of the tracks and then just say, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah, as long as you don't get stuck in the airport again, right?
See, this is my fear. No. You guys don't understand. Now that you're talking about this is my fear. So after that day, I saw you, right?
I actually felt a little bad for you that day. Actually, a little bit, but I got over it.
Yeah, because you got on your flight.
But see, the problem was you weren't sitting at the bar with us. You were sitting over at the chairs. We were at the bar. And
I was on my laptop trying to be productive. That's because the only reason is because the night before I was out drinking with that gang who. But so after that flight, right? So then I flew, had to drive home, whatever, that whole long. Then I flew to California. Yes, I flew to California a couple of weeks later. My flight leaving Minot got stuck, delayed 2 hours. I fell asleep on the flight. I hands down, I can admit it. I go to the bar. I get a Long Island iced tea and some French fries at whatever bar. I chug it right before they start boarding my flight. And I go on. I'm out. And I got stuck in Minot for 2 hours, delayed. Missed my connection flight to from Vegas to San Diego that night. Have to stay in the airport that night, wake up, go the next time. And then on the way back, they were trying to cancel my flights too. I'm like, maybe it's just not right for me to travel for a while.
Remind me to never travel with you. How about that?
Yeah, no. So I think this year I might do like the geezer does and just rent a little caravan and drive the countryside everywhere I go. So,
Slammy Sam van.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Slam and Sam's face put on the side of it. And just record live videos from everywhere I'm driving from. So.
There we go. Well, Doug, look, thank you for your time, and we hope that you have a great 2022 season in Pro Mod, wherever that takes you, especially the NHRA, and power to the old school cars.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me, and you do a great job, and thanks for having me again.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night. Again, Lee, what professional modified drivers? The real deal.
PM.
It is PM.
That's
It's
right.
late. Nighttime.
It is.
Because this is the late night show of drag racing where we talk everything, controversy, whatever. Scott Milepass does live 50 miles from there. So maybe if I get on a fly to where he lives, stay there, and then drive the 50 miles. Who knows? I don't know. That's too much thinking right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do need to get to Gainesville. I do need to get to a track soon because, man, you know, some people say that they need more cowbell. I need more nitro in my life. I need some rubber on my glasses and my face. It's just what I love to do. A lot of upgrades.
Sam, I get it, man. I'm looking forward to getting back to the track. Whatever that track looks like, whether it's a dirt track, whether it's a drag strip, you know me, I love all types of motorsports. I'm just looking forward to getting back to the track, period.
Yeah, I mean, we've, like I said, it's unbelievable. We were just closing the door on the 2021 race season, and here we go again. Like we're ready to go. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
We were just doing this.
Lee, there's something that we have to do now because you made a point to do it. Or actually, she did. Jonna's in that video. Miss Dunn.
Oh, yeah,
she's in that video.
She is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see her?
Dunn is in there, yes.
It's in that. Yeah. See, she made it a point when I posted that the other day on my social media. So now we have to make it a point to say that every time we. Yes. But it's crazy to believe, Lee, that we were just shutting it down with a little grooving boogie, and you know what? It is what it is. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and I'm just ready to keep telling these stories of these drivers. I mean, that's the great thing about this show. We get to talk everything, and just get into the mindset. So you guys get to see who these people are. They're not just action figures or, robots that just drive these cars. No, I mean, they're everyday, hardworking, blue-collar people that are doing what they love to do and have a passion for it. And this is what we get an opportunity to do. So this show has given us opportunities, and that's what it's all about. But, Lee, man, I'm Slamming Sam, Outlaw Performance ENT, Bobby Bennett, Competition Plus. It's been an honor, man. It's been a pleasure. But, Lee, you know what? I think it's time for us to throw the chutes because we've gone to the quarter mile in our professional modified class. We are not running eighth mile. We're wrecking a couple of parts as they're screaming at 10,000 RPMs, and we are just rolling. Here's a train coming. Toot toot. Professional modified pro mod coming at you
in 2022. Good night, everyone.